to potentially the final day of the group stage 2 here at DreamLeague Season 22. Suns fan with the Cindermeister. Aurora versus BetBoom. Pretty simple. If BetBoom wins this series, there are no tiebreakers at all. If they lose, then there will be a three-way.
Yep. And that three-way tie will be for second place. So BetBoom, they're not on the ropes whatsoever. They are guaranteed a top 4 finish, but they would love to start in that upper bracket for a guaranteed top 3. And of course, just having to win one series to get to those grand finals. And they've had a really good tournament. Aurora had a great first group stage, and then in the second group stage, they've kind of fallen flat. But their scoreline of 0-6, I feel like is a bit misleading compared to the quality that we've seen from them.
Most of their series have gone 3 games, right?
Yeah, they've lost some 3-game series, and even the ones that they've lost 0-2, they haven't necessarily been run over. It's been some clutch moments, you know? You can be a good team, but if the absolutely decisive moments fail every time, then you're not going to win, despite having solid fundamentals. And that's kind of what it's felt like for me when I've been watching Aurora. Their laning stage generally is quite good. I think their individual players are doing very well for the most part. But then in the clutch situations in the late game, which is ironically what they kind of, you know, pride themselves on as what they... In the region, they play late game, right?
Yeah.
Just hasn't quite
Which is
nailed
ironic
it here.
because it feels like they're kind of patch.
Yeah.
A lot of these games are going late. And
Yep.
if they want to go late, surely they'll have a better record than this, but it just hasn't worked out for them. But again, this is the second group stage. It means they made it to top 8. So they're still have had a pretty damn good showing overall. Just haven't been able to convert in this second group stage. We're going to see Lorinov on the Razor versus the Melee Pangolier from GPK. So Lorinov should have a pretty okay time here.
It is a good point. Like, when you think about it, this group stage or this tournament in general is so long. At this point, you kind of almost forget that there were 8 teams that got eliminated a week ago.
Yeah.
Right? It's just such a... For some of these teams, this is quite a grind, you know? You play a best of 3 a day. It might not sound like that much, but this is different than just playing your average 2.5 games of pubs in a day. The amount of prep that goes into this, the amount of mental fortitude, the quality of opposition you're playing in every single game is quite high. So definitely is a marathon, not a sprint, for every participant. And for Aurora, the marathon ends today, no matter what.
Yes, that is accurate. But they can go out with a bang.
Yep.
And nothing more satisfying than screwing over other people, as I like to say. Very important aspect of human nature, I think.
It's a big motivation for pro teams to inflict misery upon others. It's
That's, well, not the player misery, of course. He's a coach now, I think.
He's an infliction. Get misery and your team is cursed.
Yeah, you get forced to get second at TI as Ollie can take a blast off with the Infernal Blade from Miero. Echo Stomp is coming onto both heroes. It'll break things up. So can go over some of these picks as Techie's the classic courier kill with the million range that he has. As Ollie still wants to fight, it seems. Astral Spirit upon him. Sticky Bomb is there though, and save. Should be able to get first blood. Indeed he does. I'm surprised Ollie just went right back where Techie's was.
It's one of those situations where what else do you do? Like, do you go and suicide to a camp? The distance to dying to the enemy tier 2 is quite far away. If you have to walk all the way back to base and TP all the way back to lane, there are cases where it's better to just die.
Even with first blood.
But that's the thing. If this wasn't first blood, I feel like it would feel a lot better. But for first blood, it feels bad, but it's less of a loss than you might instinctively think. Because now at least he comes back to lane immediately and can offer protection for his Morphling, who largely will be completely fine on his own once he hits level 3 to 5.
Jabs.
Just needs to get there.
Yeah. Malefice is quite the annoyance for any Primal Beast player. And I do want to talk about some of these picks because this is kind of a fascinating draft overall. Lifestealer just made such a resurgence now, but against the likes of a Razor, that has, I know panel went over it, but I do want to talk about it some more. Historically speaking, one of the hardest counters to this hero.
Yeah, and Morph. It's the double dip.
And the question is, will there be a different type of itemization that we find on the Lifestealer? Like I know we're memeing here a bit, but we have been seeing Aghanim Scepter occasionally. It's kind of dropped off since the beginning of the tournament, but it does give the extra cast range on Infest, which potentially is a way to take off the static link easier. I'm not sure how these fights are going to
Maybe there's a world where you go Lincolns against...
God, that feels bad, but yeah.
It does, but you're against Morph and Razor. So if you block either Static Link or the Morph ulti, that's already really good. Obviously, the reason Morph loves this matchup so much is that you get Rage. And you can just turn into the Lifestealer, cast range, turn into Morphling and go into the fight. Obviously, BetBoom covered their bases there by having the Doom as well as Black Hole. So they have Pierces. But he's still going to want it anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of that Doom, another hero I wanted to discuss. This hero got some nerfs after being literal first ban in basically every single game in the prior tournament. It has dropped off considerably. We've seen it as last pick, kind of gotcha type. Well, they tried to make it a gotcha type pick, but has not worked out very well. The games at least we've cast have been pretty miserable for Doom.
Yeah.
Well, can BetBoom find a recipe for success? Obviously, against the likes of Morphling, very good, if you can get the Doom off, but Lincoln's will almost certainly be the first item for 23 Savage.
It also feels like a lot of the games we have got to cast, Doom has lost his lane, right? Like, badly. In this case, this is a very easy lane for Doom. You're against ET as a 5 and Morph. Most offlaners in this patch can play against this lane. You know, maybe you're gonna not get the full CS because Morph can play on high agility, but at the very least, you're not getting bullied out of lane and dying. So you get to reach your timing at a decent pace. And you see Miero here has essentially tied the lane with the Morph. Toronto, Tokyo, big damage here. He will live for now.
Blood grenade. Yeah, he lives for about 2 seconds longer. You were technically correct.
I didn't say he was gonna live forever. Nobody does.
Elon Musk is working on that one, which would be just a terror for everyone.
I will say I did not account for a blood grenade coming from the Rubik, so that was actually a nice play there from Aurora to be able to get that in reach. Needed that little bit of extra damage and slow to kill him in the tower and then still get out, so a good kill for Jabs. Lifestealer is, however, completely free farming in that top lane.
Yeah, he will start with the armlet, so no change yet. And I was also interested in Miero's build. He's going for the Veil to start things out. And that's been the typical build that Dooms have been going for. So I thought maybe they would change it up to see if they'd be able to find something that's a little bit more effective, because we're not really seeing the Midases anymore. The farm intensive. Despite these games kind of going late, you'd feel like the Midas would actually pay off right now. Going for the early Veil type.
Yeah, it's awkward though, because even though the games go late, you can't just pick a lineup where you're like, oh yeah, we're definitely winning late game, because you need to stabilize in the mid game and actually have some map control so you can at least trade farm. And if you go too greedy, which we've seen some teams do, sure, maybe the game ends at 45 minutes, but you're never catching up. So it's a bit worrisome if you go Midas on Doom and, you know, your offlaner effectively doesn't really provide much for the first 20 minutes, which is where the foundation of the game is set. And then if you're playing catch-up the entire time, doesn't really matter that you have good late game. If you own 30 to 40% of the map, then the Midas will never pay for itself. So, gotta strike that perfect balance between greed and actual presence. This is a quite annoying lane now for Jabs.
Well, he does
pulling him out together with
the rage out from Nightfall, but yeah, level advantage to Nightfall and top CS in the game in this early stage for game number 1 of this best of 3. And of course for Aurora, I believe this game
Save is thinking about it.
Does not. Oh, yeah, save. I love the wiggle. That's like you're not going to know this meme. There's a Shaquille O'Neal.
I know
GIF.
this meme.
Oh, you do.
I do.
That's what that has to be what it's from, surely. Look at that. Look at that. Faking it out.
And the reason you like that
Blast
meme?
off is enough. 23 Savage takes the tumble.
Yeah, nice lane ward. He has vision on the Morph the entire time. It's just a matter of time before it catches him off guard. But yeah, the reason you love that Shaquille O'Neal is that it combines your 2 favorite things in the world, which is basketball and cats. So
that's true.
Of course you would know that one. Probably have it as your phone background, as a matter of fact, now that you can have animated backgrounds on your phones.
Oh, that's great to know. Thanks, Sinner, for keeping me updated on technology.
Very welcome.
GPK with the haste rune will be able to walk away from the plasma. And BetBoom with an early 1K lead so far.
Yeah, the Morph kill's the big one. Save gets so much experience from this kill.
That's Ollie.
Ollie's just
onto
dead,
the tier
I think?
1. Echo Stomp is going to hit onto the techies, but Miera should be able to chase him down. Although he gets blocked by a creep there.
Did Save not have Blast Off ready?
Any further.
I don't know. I think he had Blast Off ready. I'm surprised he didn't just go for it straight away and just kill him in the tower, but might have been worried about a counterplay from 23 and doesn't want to trade 1 for 1, perhaps? Or maybe it just came off cooldown from the previous kill.
Still pretty scary for 23 Savage. That's the farm while having someone leech his XP and has to keep his HP at a point where the blast off isn't enough to take him out. Level 5 on save right now.
Yeah, 5 on Ollie as well, surprisingly.
Yeah, Miero going for the chase. 23 Savage now. Oh, he gets doomed
he
up.
got him.
And the attribute shift not going to do too much now. Blast off is there to take him out again. Miero will be the trade as Jab's making his rotation over with a nice pulverize. End up taking out Save. So ends up being a 2 for 1, but really the 23 Savage kill is ginormous. He's bottom net worth for the cores.
And while this is a 2 for 1 trade, the amount of rotation that Aurora had to put into this play was quite expensive. They still lost a decent chunk of the tower to the Eidolons, and in the mid lane as well as the top lane, GPK and Nightfall get 2 free waves each. Nightfall's armlet is en route. It will arrive now.
He doesn't hit like a wet noodle anymore? Incredible. He did not go for or did he? No, he didn't go for the Orb of Corrosion this time. That's a little bit of a deviation from what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, maybe feels like he can't put enough pressure on the Primal to really make it worth it. I think you buy this Orb of Corrosion when you can truly, like, put a dent in the offlaner. But Primal will find farm here. It's just he's not going to stop Lifestealer either. And speaking of trade lanes, the mid lane has gone quite well for Pango. GPK has drawn against Razor, more or less.
Yeah.
Which is a good result, I would say. Big part of the pick, Brian was talking about it, should be a relatively good lane for the Razor, and of course the counter matchup to the Lifestealer later down the line makes it even better. It was going to be either this or the Windranger for Aurora, and I actually thought, at first glance, I was like, they're going to get the Windranger. It worked great for them yesterday in Game 1 against Falcons, when Lorinov had an outstanding performance against Melreen. Then they ran it back, and he lost the lane. And maybe it was just like, okay, it doesn't work well every time. Let's try Razor this time.
Yeah.
This Windranger is not bad against Lifestealer either. So, you know, that could have definitely worked.
Ollie is going to be found in the jungle. Only question is who will get the last hit. It is GPK. I've yet to see the Rolling Thunder. I've yet to see the Black Hole, which for a position 5 Enigma, not that unusual, but for Toronto Tokyo, I would say it is actually unusual. Typically we'll get these out much off cooldown every time. This 23 Savage is what they would like to take out, but
I think that's not too surprising.
Oh, blast off. Double mines as well. Lorinov has to expend a little bit of time to try to kill them. That's going to set up the rest of BetBoom to be able to just right-click to their heart's content. Down goes the mid laner.
If there is a game where Toronto Tokyo doesn't use Black Hole early, are you surprised it would be against Aurora? They generally don't play particularly aggressively in the earlier stages of the game. They're mostly content to trade farm.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when Enigma on the 5 position, hang on, Save might be in trouble here. Lifted into Stomp.
23 Savage, he wants this. ET ult into the adaptive.
So most of the times when position 5 Enigmas get Black Holes off in the early game, it's as counterplay. It's kind of hard to find aggressive Black Holes from this position this early on. But a lot of the time, if the enemy team is going to kill your carry, you can TP in, you can get the counter Black Hole and maybe build something. But yeah, Aurora haven't really even tried to stop Lifestealer. So that's not where it's happening. And the Doom hasn't been the recipient of much aggression either. Finally now Smoke will come out, but it's at the wrong time. This lane is already pushed out, you've already lost the tower.
But the gate does exist, Cinder.
Yeah.
New mechanics added to the game. They will not take it, however.
How do they kill Lifestealer?
They steal Black Hole. Or Doom. Doom is even better, actually.
Save with a good movement, but they still fight the angle.
Does run into them eventually. Static Link applied. And Miero can only just
Die.
in the opposite direction and eventually die. Save with the double mines. Jabs going to keep him in place with the onslaught. Disarm, but it matters not. Pulverize into the Fade Bolt as the Centaur destroys Aurora and then dies shortly after. We'll always remember Cecilia the Centaur.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah. This smoke actually ended up working out quite well. When they used it, it looked like they weren't going to find anything, but BetBoom walked down the lane after pushing it out, and they were in some sort of awkward limbo where Aurora found the perfect angle despite the smoke breaking from the techies. The Doom did not have vision and ended up running into them, so...
And GPK.
Turned out quite good.
Yeah,
Rage.
Stolen Rage certainly helps out there.
Oh, not only Morphling can steal Rage in this game, the Rubik
Yeah, I think this
is
is...
not wanted.
This game is very, very good Rubik game. We'll see how well Q can play.
Yeah.
I mean, the Doom on Lifestealer is probably the best spell in the game.
I mean, take your pick among 3 of the best ults in the game for Rubik to have, right? Black Hole, Doom, and Rolling Thunder.
It's funny that Doom used to not be that bad against... I mean, obviously, no hero wants to get Doom, but for Lifestealer, it used to be not that bad because you can just fight your way out of it with the Lifesteal, but now, no healing, so yeah, not good.
And despite that, we haven't seen teams try to counterpick Lifestealer with Doom, and it's probably because the laning stage is too free. Lifestealer does very well in the lane against Doom, and then... Sure, you can maybe counter him later down the line with the Doom ability, but if Doom's lane is bad, as we've talked about, we have not seen him have high impact in recovery games.
He's top 4 net worth right now, so actually has a blink.
Sack headset!
Okay. This
says jabs!
That was all caps, that's true.
He's playing Primal Beast. Oh, now he's just playing Beast.
Okay, and Toronto Tokyo remembers that they haven't paused it in a while after starting the tournament being the top pausers in the game, but they've dropped off significantly, which
it's kind of funny.
Begs the question, what happened?
We keep giving them shit. The pauses are always against them in the last, like, 4 days, but they just paused so much in the first week that it will forever taint them in the tournament.
We'll always remember the Discord issues from BetBoom.
Do you feel like Valve should change Primal Beast so when you type in chat, it is always all caps?
That would be a nice feature. Q gonna tank the gank. Miara looking for more. It's gonna be the second support in the form of Ollie. And Q eventually will drop. Blast off connects onto the ET. So 2 quick support kills. Well, maybe not that quick.
It took a long time to kill the Rubik.
And the Black Bolt is there. Doesn't have to worry about it getting stolen as long as he uses anything else in the meantime. So a 4K lead for BetBoom as the Radiance for Nightfall almost there, so not really deviating at all on this build. But there's the ever-important Lincolns for 23 Savage.
I reckon Doom will probably rock this Purge creep for the rest of the game, or something similar. As the Lincoln's Breaker picked up, Purge is one of the better ones because the cooldown is so short. It's 3 seconds, so even if multiple Lincolns come out later down the line, you have the possibility.
We're not seeing this item nearly as much, but considering there's a Morphling, do you think, as we're going to see the Malefice onto Jabs, save is here with the blast off, but the BKB from Jabs will allow him to get out of dodge. But do you think for the Doom that an Ags this game could be good? As long as you have like the Blink, BKB, Shivas, like Ags after that could be really good against the Morphling.
I think so too, because the enemy team doesn't have any save, except I guess Rubik Shard is actually a quite good counter to that. So maybe that's going to dissuade him from it. Because aside from that, yeah, you don't have, you know, like Avenge Swap or whatever where you can get the person you're trying to kill out of the Doom ring. It's always going to be mobility based. You don't have the best Force Staff buyers. I guess ET and Rubik can buy it, but would rather not. So it feels bad for them to have to go that route. But yeah, the Rubik Shard is a bit of a difference maker in that regard.
Considering how many stuns and slows they have on BetBoom, maybe...
Yeah, somebody else could cover the Rubik, perhaps. Yeah. Wouldn't mind it, but I agree. I think BKB is mandatory beforehand. You have to have the freedom of movement, of course, against all of these slows and stuns that Aurora are offering for each other in the fight. Now, This game has been relatively quiet for the most part. There's some kills here and there, but BetBoom are just getting more out of the map. And it is concerning when you consider for Aurora that this was a Doom that did fine in lane. So now we get to the classic Doom territory that we haven't seen much of this tournament, where he's just farming. It's a 5 Enigma, who's also going to scale like a beast. And the Pango has 1,000 net worth lead against your Razor, who was meant to be, you know, a good pick for this game.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, they're gonna try to smoke and see if they can find an opportunity. I think just playing classic Aurora, it's fine, we'll go late, it's not the solution here.
Yep, save. Might be tanking the gank this time for BetBoom. Gets off the blast off and eventually is taken out. But yeah, we haven't really seen you know, the Razor versus Lifestealer type dynamic that we're discussing. They really haven't pressured Nightfall at all this game.
No.
Not even a remote attempt, in fact. And that gives him the 2K lead over everyone in the game. But it looks like they'll use this movement to not only take out Save, but the Tier 1 top as well. I mean, the fact that this lived for 19 minutes, not too shabby from BetBoom's side.
Yeah, they're pretty happy with that, I think. They've taken 3 Tier 1s themselves, so this is Aurora's first step toward equalizing the map control. This 23 will continue to farm up here. His game is all right on the Morph. The main disappointment, if you will, in terms of their lineup is really that Loronoff's Razor has not been able to accomplish too much. He's 2-1-3. It's not like his scoreline is terrible, but he did rush BKB. And if you rush BKB on this hero, you're really looking to fight. We've seen other players, you know, go Sanjin Yasha first, for example, which is going to be his secondary item. But if you build them in this order, you do lose some farm efficiency. And you're losing quite a bit of time where BetBoom are just ramping. Loronoff will find GPK, instantly broken on the link.
It's going to be the damage room bottom. Toronto Tokyo forcing the issue. Blast off going to be helped out by the Malefice. ET ult basically dodged entirely as GPK is infested. Loronoff's going to use his BKB. Q is who they have their sights set on to start things out. He's an easy one. Loronoff able to TP in the midst of the golden item. So BetBoom only getting 1.
But they invade. They get the kill, they take more control, and the Wisdom Rune is 30 seconds away. They have a really strong position here.
You think they go for the Torment?
They could even steal the Torment. They have to be a little bit careful, but with our vision, they don't. From their perspective, they...
ET. Toronto Tokyo ends up getting it. So nice steal from BetBoom. And yeah, they're just going to stick around for that Wisdom Rune, almost certainly. But at the same time, you can see Jabs making his way to the opposing one. But double TP, he's going to have to onslaught away. So BetBoom should get... What? Actually, no, they don't stick around for that Wisdom Rune, do they?
Yeah, a lot of the time in situations like this, it's difficult to make the right split because you don't have full information about how many heroes are in each side, obviously. But by doing it this way, BetBoom ensure that they get the Tormentor. Because if they would have stayed top and protected that Wisdom Rune, perhaps Aurora just trade for the bottom Wisdom plus Torm. So this way you at least guarantee that if it's an even Wisdom Rune trade, you get the secondary objective that you just stole from the enemy as well. So I really like this play call from BetBoom. It's possible they could have got absolutely everything, but with the information that they have, I think it's better that you take the guaranteed 2/3 than going for the Jugular. That is a bit more risky. Jugular. Sorry, I don't really get to say Juggernaut much these days. So that syllable isn't...
I do miss him, I'm not gonna lie. Iconic Dota hero. Needs to get some buffs, some love from our Frog of Ice.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
What's it gonna take to bring Jug back?
Well, I don't even know how his new spin works.
So education.
Yeah.
Education is what it's gonna take to bring him back.
Yeah, the pro players don't understand it either, so that's why they're just like, just forget it.
It's kind of one of those failed experiments where they were trying to open up for new avenues and new builds, but it just seems very undertuned. So it doesn't really matter in most situations. Or rather, it's just worse, actually, in the earlier parts of the game. A big part of what made Jugger relevant in some games was that he could win lanes convincingly Because Blade Fury was such a high damage spell if you were playing it with something like a Crystal Maiden or a good stun or Veno, you know, a strong slow.
Okay, this could be interesting. BetBoom in the pit. Lincoln's now on Nightfall, but Aurora.
He did buy it.
Aurora are coming. Jabs with a BKB. Pulverize is going to start things out as GPK's Courier's killed apparently. And Jabs might have to run away because not a whole lot of damage was done overall, but they get the Doom.
Did he Doom a Lincoln?
Rubik. He must have, because I don't see it on anyone, as 23 Savage going in pretty deep. Gonna focus on Dota2, deletes him from the face of the map as the counter Doom is applied to Doom himself. Gonna try to walk it off, but you can see the Rolling Thunder just being used to full effect from GPK. The buyback now from Dota2. Looks like the Doom will survive his own spell save with the blast off. One more right click will do it. 23 Savage wants to finish him off, but no, not gonna find it. Instead, it's gonna get black holed. It's a perfect placement as Jabs came in with his onslaught. Still no kills though. There's the black hole stolen on top of the life stealer, but Q will die for his sins. 23 Savage looks to be next on the list as BetBoom win this fight handily. They get 3. I believe that was a dieback onto Dota2, but that is it. As Ollie will be the next to fall, and Roche should go to BetBoom as well. They've opened up this game.
Yeah, stealing Doom and Black Hole was just not enough.
Apparently, that's actually crazy. We talked about how Q, his role is going to be so important. You literally can't get better steals than this.
This blast off is really well placed. Not only does he find the Elder Titan, but he also gets out with the Glimmer and the Black Hole, well timed on the onslaught in. Of course, Q will cancel it, get off his own. But the problem with this Black Hole is you don't really have the damaging heroes there anymore. You want the Razor to be a presence, you want the Morph to be close by to hit the target you're Black Holing. And if he doesn't Black Hole there, he just dies. So there's kind of no better cast for him in this fight anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, it's nice to steal it and all, but couldn't really find the combination that they were looking for. And begs the question, was it the right play to begin with to Doom the Doom? When Doom has already spent his ult, is it really worth dropping that key spell that you stole on him, or could you have found an opportunity to...
Yeah, that's true.
You could have doomed the Enigma so the Black Hole never comes out, or maybe you could have doomed the Pango, Lifestealer, maybe you can break his Lincolns and catch him off guard with the Morphling, but didn't really seem to build anything meaningful in the fight with the way that he used those great stolen spells.
Yeah, Rubik is a great Lincoln's breaker.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely do it.
Even if Rage is off, you can cast Fade Bolt and everything on him.
Yep.
So great steals, but not great usages of those steals, is what you're saying, especially the Doom. As Miero will scout things out here. GPK now has the Aghanim Scepter, going for the Basher next. Almost there, actually. And Nightfall with the Assault. So very,
he is
very strong build.
He big.
These are pretty normal items outside of the Lincolns, but we talked about the usages of that in this game. I mean, Pulverize, Static Link, Adaptive Strike. Those are the 3 main ones.
I would say Morph also, but...
Yeah, true. Oh, 22 Savage. They pop the Lincolns, he gets doomed, and he dies. He's just dead. He stands still, knowing that it's coming. There's the Basher now there, and there... Oh, this is an interesting Infest Bomb.
Literally.
Yeah, the literal Infest Bomb. Put down an aggressive ward.
Do you think techies should be able to throw Lifestealer out in a bomb barrel? Infest the barrel.
Oh, he's going to use Glimmer.
See you later, someone. See you later, Q.
Oh, the double blast off, and Q will be the recipient of the early grave.
This ward will definitely be dewarded. Makes it incredibly obvious what vision they have, but it's nice to get that kill and keep the pressure up. And of course, dewarding this does require that you're able to get out on the map to begin with. That seems to be a bit of a challenge for Aurora right now. BetBoom has an absolute grip on the map. All 3 lanes are pushed in. They're farming the enemy triangle. And Aurora haven't really been able to find much. It's 9-14, but what a extremely one-sided game this has been so far. Like aside from a couple of fights where they find a little bit of a trade in kills, the efficiency just easily BetBoom favor the whole way. And this is how BetBoom have been winning a lot of their games.
Radiant's top
You know,
tower
they
is
do,
under attack.
even if they don't stomp the lanes, some games they stomp the lanes and just run with it, right? But as long as they do well in lanes, the efficiency, this team is really good at playing the map and just turn small advantages into really meaningful things, such as stealing the Tormentor that we saw earlier, getting the Roche. Doesn't look like they'll be using this Aegis for much, but
I think they're waiting for
That's
this
okay.
assault.
Scanning.
They could actually
Finish
still
it
push.
now.
He's just about there, so maybe they force the issue a bit. Still 1 tier 2 on the top side, and you can see Aurora kind of waiting for this play,
Our scanning.
as they will show themselves with that Fade Bolt.
Radiant's top tower is under
Nightfall.
attack.
Teammates are not that close, but they can certainly connect eventually. He's
Radiant's middle tower is
gonna
under
walk
attack.
away, as there's the AC. Should
Yes.
be able to finish
Oh,
off the tier 2 now. Doesn't care if he dies. 50 seconds on
Radiant's
the
top
Aegis.
tower has fallen.
They spot 23 Savage there. There's the Infest onto Miero. See if they care about the timing of this Aegis at all. As Lorenoff, no, he'll actually just jump out. So apparently just wanted the heal. Yeah, a little bit too close on the timing on the Aegis. You don't want to risk anything here. And yeah, 322 last hit, very nice, good meme. He's gonna have his open wounds here relatively shortly as well. So Astral Spirit, if it's on a BKB target, I'm guessing you still get the damage. Like
Yeah.
it counts as a unit, right?
yeah,
Does that change because of the debuff immunity, or is it always that way?
I think it was always that way.
Oh, okay. Play a lot of Elder Titan, as you can tell.
Yeah, ask SVG. Or Fogged.
That's true. Fog just knows literally every mechanic.
Especially without ET. It's his favorite hero. But has not been popular for quite a while. Probably happy to see some play here. He'll probably still make the case that it's a bad hero, as he does every event.
Oh, 23 Savage scanned out. The north side, they pop the Lincolns.
Nice
Nice
Manta.
Manta in the trees.
Still dead.
Doesn't matter. If you get doomed as Morphling, you just die. Plain and simple. BetBoom with a redonkulous lead now. And just hard to see any light at the end of the tunnel for Aurora.
Yeah. While the core matchups may be good, you can only do so much when you're down this much farm, and that, of course, the X factor of the Enigma is coming more and more into play. This hero has been banned against BetBoom in a lot of their recent games after Toronto Tokyo showed his prowess on it. But Aurora opted to let it through. Probably regret it here. It's not like they've been massively owned by Black Hole or anything, but they've definitely not been able to exploit the fact that BetBoom picked it first. Rage will be stolen. The Rubik, a little bit of extra protection. Aurora not really able to find much initiative. What a quiet Primal Beast game this has been. Like, this hero, we've seen so many games really take over. He's 2-0-3. Like, it's not like he's been feeding or
Wow.
having a bad time, but
How has he not died yet? That's actually crazy.
I mean, largely it is because Aurora, for the most part, haven't taken too many decisive fights where he really goes in there and commits fully.
Yeah. Most fights have just been like a pick-off here or there.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 heroes die. Other than that Roche fight in the bottom, it's just been pick-offs.
Yep.
As Pipe now online for Toronto Tokyo.
And I will say, I think Primal Beast actually has really bad matchups this game. I think the Lifestealer is a pretty bad matchup. Sure, you can pulverize through the Rage, but you're not going to just run him over like you can with other cores sometimes.
Yeah.
The Pango is tough. When he gets ult off, he messes with you really hard. The Enigma, it's a support, it's a problem. Well, we'll see. This is an important moment for Aurora.
Jabs gets the BKB off with the Pulverize. Infest comes out from Nightfall, and now the focus is Jabs, but he has that Aghanim Scepter now active, as the Rolling Thunder will be applied just for the Primal Beast. 23 Savage doomed again. It's only a matter of time before he drops. Jabs in the corner, ends up falling. 2 cores dead already. Lornoff first hit bash for Nightfall. Very fortuitous, as that'll be the 3rd core for Aurora. Only the supports survive. And I do believe BetBoom, well, maybe they wait for Roche. But
I think they get
mid
mid
for 45.
They get mid-racks here. Definitely. Maybe they even get 2 lanes. They push pretty quickly. Lifestealer is not a bad pushing hero with this item build. The AC as well as Armlet. It goes quick. They've already taken mid tower. 30 seconds on the 3 enemy cores. Absolutely nothing going to stop Nightfall here.
That is not a member of BetBoom.
That is 23, who
Smiling about something.
is step-by-step approaching 23 times doomed this game.
Yeah, hard game. So, bottom set for BetBoom. They likely retreat for Roche, although the melee racks is open for the taking. And they're going to back away. And Jabs, some counter initiation, trying to keep them in his base. I'm not sure if that's actually what you want. 23 Savage goes in very deep. They pop the Lincolns again. Black hole applied, and the damage is too much. 23 Savage dead again as a beautiful blast off onto several heroes. A stolen black hole onto 4, but your damage is no longer there as the GGs come out. And BetBoom stomped their way through game number 1.
The biggest highlight of the game from Aurora.